The government was briefing in advance that this would be a coronavirus budget. And there's no question that Rishi Sunak's fiscal statement was dominated by the government's response to the health crisis.
I want to get straight to the issue most on everyone's mind: coronavirus COVID-19.
The extremely new and extremely young Chancellor announced some £18 billion in various loans, taxes and other official schemes to help small businesses cope with the knock-on impacts of the crisis. On NHS funding to fight the disease, he said, whatever it takes, whatever the cost.
Whether it's millions of pounds or billions of pounds, whatever it needs, whatever it costs, we stand behind our NHS.
So what's the big picture on the public finances as a result? In short, more borrowing and more debt. Almost £20 billion of extra borrowing every year over the next 5 years is planned. Total debt will be up by £125 billion by 2025. This will be the biggest fiscal loosening from any government in almost 3 decades, says the government's official forecaster, the Office for Budget Responsibility. Along with the coronavirus-related spending, there's also a major increase in state capital spending, things like road, rail and broadband installation, to 3% of GDP a year. But that was in the Tory manifesto. More surprising is the penciled-in increases in day-to-day public service spending. Per person, this is apparently set to reverse most of the cuts of the past decade. If this is delivered, the claim that austerity is over really will have some serious foundation. The OBR, again surprisingly, says the government is on course to meet its own fiscal rule of balancing its day-to-day budget in 3 years' time. But there's a massive caveat here. The GDP growth forecasts presented by the OBR are based on the assumption that there is no coronavirus-driven recession. If things get worse, if economic activity takes the kind of hit in the coming months that many other forecasters expect, those fiscal rules will likely be toast too. To that extent, this really is the coronavirus budget, and for good or bad, will likely be remembered as such.